Good evening. Welcome to my late night show and ADM TV. I'm Andy Bed and today is February 11th, 2020. And 30 years ago today, Nelson Mandela was released from jail after 27 years. To celebrate this anniversary, we decided to make a special show about the apartheid in South Africa. So today, it's a real honor to welcome two major survivors, Desmond Tutu and Dennis Goldberg. So let's begin with you, Mr. Tutu. How are you and can you introduce yourself?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm Desmond Tutu and I'm an archbishop in South Africa. But you invited me because I won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1984 for my fight against apartheid, right?
Yeah, you were such a big fighter. However, for the young spectator, can you explain what apartheid was?
Yeah, of course I can. To begin with, it's an ideology which was in place in South Africa during 400 years until 1991. It's a political system in which people of different races are separated. Black people didn't have the same rights as white people. If a black person tried to protest against the system, he could be arrested, incarcerated, or killed.
In this terrible context, what did you do to be nominated at the Nobel Peace Prize?
I didn't do anything to be nominated to the Nobel Peace Prize. I just did what seemed to be right so as to have peace. I established a career in education before turning to theology. In 1978, I was appointed the General Secretary of my country's Council of Churches and became a spokesperson for the rights of Black South Africans. During the 1980s, I played a role in drawing national and international attention to the inequities of apartheid. And in 1984, I won the Nobel Peace Prize for my efforts, I believe. I later chaired the Truth and Reconciliation Commission and has continued to draw attention to a number of social justice issues over the years.
What you did is just amazing and incredible. But did you risk your life by fighting for your rights and black people's rights?
Of course, while being part of the Black Consciousness movement, I criticized apartheid a lot, so I risked jail, as I said before. But I chose to fight pacifically because I would have rather died than live in a country with violence and no rights. Moreover, I still currently think that fighting back with violence is aberrant. According to myself, the country requires peace to have equal rights. That's why with other activists, we wrote the Ubuntu theology.
Thank you for this testimony. Like I said in the beginning, it's an honor to meet someone who did such a great thing for his country. Now, I would like to speak about you, Mr. Goldberg. So, like Mr. Tutu, can you introduce yourself?
I'm Dennis Goldberg, and I'm one of the few white people who was arrested because I fought against apartheid.
So, while you were not concerned, you still decided to fight for black people's rights. It is such an admirable move from you.
Exactly, but I don't think that it's something extraordinary. I didn't fight for black people's rights, I fought for human rights. But I don't criticize the white people who didn't fight. I know it's difficult to take action for something that you're not concerned about, especially when you can get yourself killed. But I decided, like my friend Desmond, to fight for everyone.
It can seem normal, but I insist, it was really courageous. Moreover, you were in prison during 22 years. What did you do to be arrested?
In 1957, I joined the Communist Party. I was arrested on 30 March 1960 for supporting strikers in the township in the aftermath of Sharpeville massacre on 21 March 1960. Along with my mother, I spent 4 months in prison without trial and subsequently lost my job. Faced with similar circumstances, several comrades left the country. With the government using increasingly violent methods to suppress peaceful protests, me and others argued for an armed struggle against the police and military. The aim was to act only against hard targets such as power pylons. I helped organize a training camp outside Cape Town in December 1962. The camp was later recognized as the first training center in South Africa. However, it had to be abandoned early due to security police interest. My involvement in the camp formed part of the charge I later faced.
What did happen next?
Following a wave of sabotage attacks, the security police was allowed to detain a person for 90 days without charging them or allowing access to a lawyer. I needed to leave the country and to be trained elsewhere for a while, but I first had to travel to Johannesburg to obtain clearance from the High Command. There I helped in the radio broadcast of a speech on the June 26 Freedom Day, out on bail at the time to show people that the ANC was still active despite the repression. On 11 July 1963, I was arrested at the farm along with several others.
Thank you, Mr. Goldberg. It was a pleasure to meet you both. Dear spectators, it was Andy Bed, Desmond Tutu, and Daniel Goldberg for ADM TV. Good night, and see you next week.